Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tea with Steve Live. We're in the Heart Brand sessions, and we are just going to keep going and going and going. I'm very, very excited because I have got Vida Barr-Jones joining me, and what she doesn't know about brand and purpose is not worth knowing. So I'm just that's the introduction I'm doing, because you're just going to get so much value out of this interview. So let me bring Vida on. Vida, how you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you, Steve?
Awesome. I am very, very, very well. I'm excited to share your knowledge with everybody, because, like, you know, what I say in a moment ago to you, you know, you've helped us so much understand purpose, and I've been talking purpose for years, but maybe not articulating it in the best way. And that's just me saying that. So I'd love for you to sort of share your purpose with the world. You know, we launched Unite on Purpose yesterday. So share your purpose and what your understanding of it is, and then how other people can learn from that. That would be amazing.
Brilliant. Well, thank you. That's a big introduction. Yeah, I'm Vida. I have been most probably working in this land of purpose now for about 8-9 years. I came at it very much from a point of view of helping businesses with their growth. I did growth consultancy for a long period of time. I had a nice long FTSE career where I was with customers and helping customers grow their business. And then I went into consultancy and discovered that people needed help, really needed help with actually what does a real brand journey mean? What does it mean to take your brand on a journey? What does it mean to deliver great customer experience?
Yep.
And then literally we got to that point where people would say, well, I started this business 10 years ago and it was going to do this. And I'd be going, well, what stopped you? And you realized that people had lost track of their purpose, what was really at the heart of their business. And what was that pulsing, beating heart of their business. And people had forgotten that there was a heart pumping. So what we try to do with purpose is just say to people, what do you want to be known for? You know, what do you want people to say about you when they walk away? Having purpose in your business is about being a business as a force for good.
Yeah.
Therefore, helping people find that force for good, helping them find that heartbeat and making it a bit faster. That's the thing. That's the mojo that makes me want to connect with people.
Yeah.
And that has really been the driving force behind Focus 7. Our purpose, what I'm known for, is brand-led growth by design. And we help people find the heartbeat of their business, make it beat faster. But everything we do is about putting people on a pathway to sustainable growth. And that growth coming because it's brand-led. So, yeah, I've eat, slept and drank it for about the best part of 8 or 9 years. You have to ask me a question, though, about the question I'd love you to ask me, but I'll lead you into it. Is
lead me in. I love a leading question.
How did I meet Lindsay Boyd?
Pardon?
You asked me how I met Lindsay Boyd.
So how did you meet Lindsay Boyd, Vida?
I fangirled her.
Did you?
I did that fangirl la. Oh, look, it's Lindsay Boyd. I need to meet her.
Cool.
I bought her book, actually. Yep. That's how it started. And
this one?
That very same book.
As if it was planned.
I bought the book, I read the book, and I bought 3 or 4 copies. And then I put one in the design studio. I gave one to, the content studio. I had one. Various people had one. And whenever we were stuck with our creativity with clients, we used to thumb through the book. Yeah. But what was really great is that I realized that I wasn't the only person out there trying to connect on purpose. So what was beautiful is that we've been driving purpose through the essence of our business for a very, very long time. And then suddenly there was a movement I could join where there was lots of other purpose-driven businesses and people. Yeah. And that made me realize, one, that we were doing the right thing for our clients by helping them take this kind of like what I call this, I loved the phrase you used with me once, Steve. You talk about your heart brand. And I think that's one of the reasons why you and I connect so well, is because I talk about, the beating heart of somebody's company, and you talk about your heart brand. But actually, the connection that we had when we got together with Bob, funnily enough, on purpose it had been the driving force in our business. It just made me think, this is great. We're on the right track. Lots of companies, when they come to us, they come to us because they've been trading for a long while. They're either stuck, they've got a problem with marketing. They don't know what to do. They think they know their company. They come to you with all these reasons that why they're successful. But you ask them some very simple questions like, so, what's your 5-year plan? And in 10 years, what will your business look like? And do you want your business to be, have a foundation? Do you want your business to be part of, have you got like a legacy that you want to leave for your company, and all those things, and they just go, no. And you suddenly realize that these are businesses. We're working with businesses who have been established for 5, 6, 10 years, and they have no purpose. It's actually, so it's exciting to bring that out in a session. And I love that aha moment when somebody in the workshop with us suddenly goes, oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah. It's really interesting you say that, because I tell the story of last year where I used the phrase fired my clients, but more actually what happened was I got to the point where I wouldn't renew contracts. We've been working with people. So cut long story short, going back a few years, started Big Daddy. It grew first year very well. And then I put my foot on the pedal, dived into what we were doing. It grew for the next 3 years. Then I became quite poorly because I was going all in on the business and there was no balance. Yeah. I then took my foot off the pedal, looked after myself. So went from literally from no balance to, no balance. Yeah. And looked after myself, sustained what we were doing, and then said, right, okay, now's the time to grow again. And then I realized that it wasn't in tune with what I did when I first started. It was like, okay, business, service, money, business, service, money. And then I realized over about a period of 18 months, that 2 years even, that actually working with the wrong clients, and it's not fair to them, and it's certainly not fair to me and the team. And I literally last year, I ran everyone out, made sure there was training in their business from us so they could then carry on doing, for just very simple, basic social media management and content creation. And then it was like, right, I made the decision. I said, I'm only going to work with businesses who either have a purpose or identify that purpose is important and we can implement it.
Yeah. I mean, we are a very values-based business. And, our values are actually exceptionally important to us. And they're important to the team too. I've refused to work with clients, Steve, who I feel are toxic or who I feel actually don't value what we're going to do. And it's really hard to help somebody build their purpose and get to the heart of their business if they are already treating you with disrespect when you start the process. Mm. So, and people who actually don't realize that businesses have got to be there to do the force of good. I think those. I don't want to work with those companies either. I suppose the best thing about coming out of FTSE career and then coming into your own company is that you actually can choose who you work with, and you can choose who you work with in your collaborations and in your partnerships and your supply chain. And I think when you actually have that meeting of minds and have a meeting of soul and spirit with other businesses, it makes the whole thing worthwhile. And I've just recently, I mean, I've loved meeting you. I've met lots of other really great people in this industry, but I've met great people in this journey in the last 2 years. Mm. It's exciting because they're people who want to wake up to the journey that commerce has to take right now, Yeah. So I know some people said to me, what does that even mean, shifting into a new era? And I was like, can't you sense that the world is changing and that how we are going to trade, how we are going to work with each other is never going to be the same again. We were talking to this. I mean, the consumer trends have been changing now for the last 10 years. I think, it's no longer about millennials and Gen Zers and Gen Ys. Nope. It's just about the fact that as consumers, because there's much more information now, we're far more educated about how products are produced for us. So we are actually much more discerning, and therefore we do care about actually crippling economies on the other side of the world. And I think it's affected everything. I come from the office products industry background. Yeah. That has been for traditional products, that's been in decline now for nearly 10, 15 years. Okay. And that's because there are still some channels to market that haven't grasped the online, haven't grasped the bringing the human into dialogue and debate online, haven't realized that they don't want to, they're not interested in buying this widget anymore. They don't want marketing about the widget. They want marketing around the lifestyle improvement using this widget gives them. Yeah. We spend a lot of time helping businesses to retune their audience, retune how they talk to that audience, and then we treat the products and services as very, very down here at a transactional level. Yeah,
so we've had conversations before, and you've mentioned it about the customer and that journey.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so a brand journey, when we talk about the brand journey, we talk about literally where the brand is going to be seen, what it wants to be known for, what we want to leave people feeling about the brand.
yeah,
But the customer journey is about the experience you want the customer to have. So it's about the user experience and the user's interface and the way that the customer, so it's that whole interaction piece. So when we talk about the customer journey, we're like, okay, what journey do you want to take your customers on? What experience? I'm sorry, I always talk with my hands. What experience?
me too. That's why I'm playing with something right now, so I don't start waving my hands about.
So what's the journey? What's the experience you want them to have? What delivers that experience? What's the so what of that experience? And then what next? And so that every time you have a touch point with a customer, you're thinking very clearly, what is that touch point going to do for that person? And what do I want them to get out of it? And then where do I want to go next? A lot of people who build websites or brands or build marketing don't think about taking customers on a path. And that path is leading them all the way through to actually how they're going to, the end result. So all the way, that experience is getting better. They're feeling more confident. They're liking the customer. They've touched the values. They've met the people. They've interacted. They've sampled something. And then literally they're engaging with you. And I know in Bob language, we talk about that as sort of like awareness and leverage and core. But you take these people on a journey, and therefore it's a pathway to sustainable growth. Because if you can get people to walk your pathway, 80% of people who find a brand that they believe delivers their personal values will stay with that brand. So taking people on a customer journey gives people 80% stickability. You know, it's phenomenal.
So why do you think people, is it because they don't know and they just think build a pretty website? Because this is what we did in day one. You know, all of our comms were through social media. It was very in the moment. And we got to a point where I could say, people say to me, why have you got a website? Does it serve you? And I'm like, actually, and you asked me that question. So Stephen, why have you got a website? Why do you need to feel you need a website? And I was like, well, I think because it's the perception of others is that that's my shop front.
Yeah.
But so I've never really considered what that on a website, that customer journey should look like, because I see us day in, day out online, delivering content, having literally have conversations in the moment. And some people say, do you ever get any work done? I say, that is what my work is.
And yet we had this conversation about your website. And yet if you had a website that was telling the story about how you work and actually what people will get out of working with you, the experience of working with you, then people would go, oh, I know what his job is. He's on there interviewing people. He's talking to people. He's igniting brands. He's bringing people to the forefront. I think it's an interesting thing. We always talk about, human communication. And at the moment, people want a human response. They want to interact on a very personal level. And we talk a lot, obviously, in Bob's school, and we talk about it a lot in Focus 7, which is about the power of the personal brand and the power of the corporate brand coming together. So actually, when we're taking people on a customer journey, we're giving them an opportunity to experience it all: our humanity, our personalities, our values. We're sustainable, if that's what we want to talk about, but we care about the community. So actually, it's really important that on that customer journey, they are seeing that as a business, we're a force for good.
Yeah.
When they get to that crescendo, which hopefully then is all of our goodies that they're going to take on from us, they'll take them willingly and they'll spend more. The interesting thing about purpose-driven brand, purpose-driven customer journeys is that you get customer loyalty. They'll spend more with you and they're likely to stay with you longer because they are feeling that you respect their values. So when we talk about what we call this is brand activation for us, is that once we've actually got to that stage where somebody really knows what their purpose is, can really communicate their campaignable asset, and they know how to pull people in, so they've got that expression. For us, it's divine. We define how people's businesses work. We help them ignite their heart, and help them ignite that beating heart. and then we help them grow. So, you know, once we know how we can pull people in on our journey, the rewards are just amazing for everybody, because I love your phrase heart brand, but when you take them on a customer journey like that, you are exposing them to your heart brand.
You mentioned something, and I think it'd be great to just get a definition or an explanation on it, was campaignable asset.
Yeah. So everybody has.
Sorry, I just don't think it'll be what people will think it'll be.
No. No, absolutely. It's not a product or a widget. Actually, it's normally something about the business that. So when we talk about the campaignable asset, we're talking about the one thing that is at the heart of your business that makes your business pulse and beat. And that could be, for example, consultancy. That could be, for example, in our case, it's our business immersion. It's me, actually. Our asset is we really know how to find the heartbeat. So it's that we have a technique and some IP and a system that allows us to get inside a client's business to get to that heartbeat. So when we talk about the campaignable asset, it's the one thing in your business that we can talk about, that people can relate to, under which all your other products and services sit, and the person will connect with your campaignable asset and go, and I like this, 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 and this. Thank you very much. Does that help?
It helps me. I'm waiting for everyone to be going, oh my God, I thought it was my screwdriver, or I thought it was my laptop, or I thought it was my this. And they're like, oh, and then they'll be scratching their heads. And then they need to contact you.
Well, they need to, yeah. I mean, I'd like to work with anybody who's got to that point where they're thinking, what happens at the moment is we can no longer bombard consumers with multiple pieces of marketing and just hope that something sticks. And we know, you know, in a funny kind of way, GDPR was the best thing that could happen, because GDPR stopped people from just multiple mailing and then going, I've mailed them on 20 things, and by a law of ratio, those 2 things will stick. What we did with GDPR is that you are now marketing in a very engaged way, because you're emailing people and marketing to people who actually want to hear from you.
Yep.
And therefore you're already pushing on an open door. So in a funny kind of way, it works well, because you have to really seriously think about your campaigns, how you're talking to people, and you're pushing on open doors. You're pushing to people who've opted in, as opposed to people who can't wait to opt out.
Yes.
So, you know, that whole process, it's really, really important. And you'll have to remind me of the question, Steve, because I've just had one of those blonde head moments when I forgot what I was talking about.
Keep going. You're in flow. I'm loving this. See, what people don't know is that we've had conversations like this before. And when you're in flow, I'm just like, I'm like, I should have pressed the record button, but I've got it on record this time. How many times have I said that? I should have pressed the record button at the start of this conference, at this meeting.
You know, you're the opposite of my wife. She's always telling me to shut up.
See, I get the slow down, you're speaking too fast.
Yeah, I am practicing, because I speak. My team will tell you, Steve, and even customers, I can speak at about 120 miles an hour.
Yep.
So I've had to learn to slow myself down, because when I'm excited or passionate, I can go really fast. But yeah.
There's a young man who I work with, and he's in India, and he said, when we have a call, could you please just slow down so I can understand you?
I don't know what my excuse is.
And I said, yeah, of course I will. Of course I will.
Yeah.
So for all the people that are listening and watching and they're catching up on the replay, and we say, okay, right, we've talked about campaignable asset, we've talked about purpose. What's the process that people could just start to identify what their purpose is?
Wow.
How they could then take one action?
Yeah, I mean, we've always saying to people, everyone's busy, everyone's running around, everyone is rushing to get somewhere. And one thing about the pandemic is it slowed us all down. And for those businesses that spent the pandemic looking to pivot and to shift their business around, one of the best things to do to start with is to stand still and ask yourself a number of questions about actually, I would say to people, when you started your own business, there was a reason why you started it. And you had a dream and you had a vision. So what was that dream and the vision? So go back to that, sit yourself down and just say to people, right, what is my business doing at the moment? What was it? When I started this business, what did I think I was going to achieve? What have I achieved? So if you said 10 years ago, I'm going to be a 10 million pound business and I'm going to sell, where are you on that road? And then what's the gap? And then when you start to look at the gap, you start to think, right, how do I fill that gap? How do I change that momentum? And the first thing that people have to do when they just want to find their purpose is to go back and start looking at what they do, but revisit who they're trying to reach with their products, and actually look for the disconnects and everything in their business, because we all have those really massive disconnects. We're working with a number of businesses, but we've been working with one business recently, and they came to us with a fantastic new idea, concept to go to market with. They felt there was a really big gap in the market, but the thing that was missing from the whole concept was the purpose of the brand. What's the purpose of all of this?
Yeah.
Why were you going to shift that? And it was like, well, what do you mean by that? Well, so how's this going to benefit the world? Are you buying from sustainable people? Have you sourced, how are you going to talk about all your business partners? Are they ethical? Are they all those things? And it was just like they hadn't asked themselves those questions. So really just sitting down and sitting around on the purpose is getting the people in your business who can influence change in your business to actually step back and look at what is it that we're doing now? What do we need to do in the future? What do we want the business to look like in the future? And therefore, what do we have to change to take those steps to be to the future? And put yourself back on the right path, Steve. I mean, when you and I were talking, you had almost like 300 different great ideas, but you'd narrowed it down to a couple of things. And I think when we were talking, what was interesting was that actually, we got very quickly to matching some of your personal experience and your personal passions.
Yep.
There was a moment last week when we were all talking to Darren. I think the thing that affected me the most was when he talked about his higher purpose, his higher personal spiritual purpose.
Yep.
And I just thought, wow, what I liked about you and I in our conversation is that you have a spiritual purpose that you're trying to pull together with your business purpose.
Yep.
But actually, it joins everything together nicely with communicating a kinder world.
Yep.
So suddenly you go, okay. So that's what we're saying to people is that you have to go into, when you're looking for your purpose, you have to look at it from a personal point of view and from a business point of view. But you then have to look at who you're trying to impact on and how you're trying to impact on those people. What difference can you make to the people that you're talking to? And then you start to find your purpose. But you need to come away from it being it's no longer just about your vision and your mission. Those things are really important, by the way, because they're the foundation. But once you've got those things, you have to elevate up into making it into a much more interactive human-to-human experience.
I'm just seeing some of the comments coming in because I actually sent you a direct message before we went on and then realized that I actually wasn't monitoring the comments. So this one came in, and I know what Marion was referring to, I think, with regards to, the journey. Got to put this in here because Nat is a massive fan of yours as well. So she said that it's so important for her to understand the why. So it's really, I've found out that we've had a conversation. You've helped me more than I ever realized you were going to help me. I thought we were going to have a conversation. I go, oh, okay, yeah, I can do this. But it's the process, it's the journey of identifying what our purpose is. And it was, I've had, I'm going to say spiritual moments. I'm not going to say light bulb moments. They're spiritual moments. They're like insights. There are pieces of awareness where, I saw a dad in the car park of a supermarket, and he was handing his children over to his separated wife partner, and the daughter was clinging to his leg, and didn't want to go back with mum because they obviously had a good time with dad. And then I remember when I started Big Daddy I came from a failed relationship with Summer's mum, and I was in a new relationship, and that was, there was various challenges going on then with new baby and new job and this, that, and the other. And the reason I launched Big Daddy was I wanted my diary to be my own, so I could spend more time with the family and not make that mistake. And then I went on these ebbs and flows and journey, and then realized after about 18 months what I was doing, and took my foot off that pedal, took running the business, and looked up. And it was like, and then go fast forward 6-7 years, I see that, and I was like, okay, things are popping up in front of me for the right reasons now. my diary, I needed my diary to be my own because I didn't want that to happen. And that's just been shown to me again. Is that a sign, or is that, people be like, what the heck, Stephen? I was like, is that a sign, or is it just a gentle reminder that your purpose is something to do with that?
Yeah.
And for me, that's why we, a few weeks ago, we launched the program Digital Dads. And that's why we're launching the Heart Brand Academy on Monday, because I wanted to hold off on the Heart Brand Academy because we went into COVID and I knew it wasn't right. And I didn't want people to come and panic by it. It's a subscription model, and it's very much, we'll hold your hand along the way while you build your personal brand and activate it over the next year to 18 months. But I didn't want to put it out there because I knew that people would buy it and think it was going to be a solution to this problem of COVID, which is not. So I needed to test the market and try things and all of this stuff. And then, we brought someone on Digital Dads because actually you're in that situation that I was 8 years ago. Okay. So now I've identified that one of our products, whatever that level that would be, is actually I can teach dads who want to stay at home with their family or are separated from their family and need flexible working. I can teach them how to build a 6-figure consultancy. Yeah. I know the six figures is the old American thing, but if you want to earn 100 grand doing digital, social marketing, whatever, so you can provide for them, spend time with them, not be away from them, work wherever in the world, I can teach you to do that. So that's why Digital Dads launched.
Yeah.
And that's why the Heart Brands come in. And I'm thinking, so are we a social media agency anymore? And I'm like, well, no, because we don't do social, we communicate. That social is just a tool. That'll change over time.
The big thing when we were talking, we were about is actually, you're about conscious communication. You're about helping people find great communication channels. And I love your purpose, which is communicating for a kinder world, because what part of what you do with Big Ed, which is helping young people come up, is teaching them how to actually communicate with responsibility, and that's really, really important. I love those moments when businesses like you come through my door. I had a great conversation this morning with a family-owned business who want to go from offline to online and missed a massive opportunity with pandemic. But we were having a conversation on the phone this morning, and I was just saying to her, oh my God, you're a family-run business. It's so exciting. You've got generations, you're organic, you grow your own. We could have so much fun with your brand. I love engaging with my clients because I love that. I love taking them on that journey with their brand. But I love thinking, what can I do with it? Where can I take it? And I love that moment when the client says to me, please help me build that out, Vida, because we do that. We've got lots of people who come to us just because they're halfway through a project and they haven't been able to get. I've had a lot of people come to us very suspicious of agencies. Oh, we've worked with a marketing agency before. It doesn't work for us. And I was like, well, why are you ringing me? What can I do for you then? But you spend a lot of time having to overcome people's preconceived ideas about what you're going to do and what you're going to give them. I like to, although we're not 100% full service agency, we are an end-to-end agency. And I love collaboration and working with other people. So, where we can, we'll always bring in a subject matter expert to enhance what we do for our clients. Yep. What we offer those clients is that ability to be able to do it all in-house. But we do about 85% in-house. Yep. Everything that we do with our clients is always about the immersion. And we have conversations like you and I had, Steve, where I just ask what I think are innocent questions, but they tend to be a bit probing. I just keep picking until I get someone to go, oh yeah, I see what you mean now. But it's just about having someone play back what you said and then ask you a question, is that what you really mean?
Yes.
I think that's where I think when we talk about purpose and why we love being a brand-led growth agency that's driven by purpose is that I don't just build websites. What I build is brand journeys and customer journeys. And we build experiences, but it's about that long-term journey. And that's why I love working with businesses like yours. It's very exciting, It
is exciting and it's fun. And when you get to a point where you're having that experience, well, we're both sat here and we've not stopped smiling the whole interview. We've just been like smiling, chat, because we're talking about what we love. We talk about the things we like to do, the impact we can have with people and on people and for people. And it's really, really interesting when we talk about, I remember a few weeks ago, actually, it's going to be I'm surprised now that actually, when I've just realized that actually it's probably about 3 months ago, but it feels like a couple of weeks, in that I had a conversation with somebody on LinkedIn, and they said, and I asked them how they were finding LinkedIn, and they said, oh, it's a bit this. I said, well, actually what we do, she said, how are you finding it? I said, well, we do this, and then we have a conversation. I said, and I bring them over to my Facebook group because it's a bit more relaxed. It's not that stuffy LinkedIn feel, and then we have some fun. And she's like, we need fun. Let me introduce you to our CEO.
Yeah.
And that was literally 3 months ago. And I reason I say that, specific on the time, because I've actually taken a screenshot of the conversation, put it in a slide for the social media sales training. I'm thinking that's week 10 on Monday.
Yeah.
And now we're working with that company and delivering training and coaching via the web. And
Brilliant.
For me, it's got to be fun. And the communication's got to be fun and enjoyable. So when I see people sit there, we've sat there and we've laughed and smiled all the way through this. And I'm now thinking, okay, I've got to pivot something, not everything, just a little bit of something that I'm delivering, so that I get those smiles when we're on the screen, so they feel like I do when I'm delivering it.
And consumers want to have fun with brands too. It's interesting, one of the biggest things, and you'll know this, Steve, better than me, is that nobody wants contrived content anymore.
Nope.
What people are looking for is very authentic. And very natural communication. They're looking for people to show their authentic selves and everything that they do. But actually, when people are engaging with your brand, they want to see the fun element in things. People don't want it to be so serious anymore. And actually, even in the business world, I was in a FTSE for 24 odd years, maybe even been 30 years now, I can't remember. I had a great group of people and we had fun. And my mission was, never to be the manager that I was managed by the way. I was determined not to be like my legacy. And I was in a very male-dominated environment. There was lots of things going on for me. Firstly, I was a woman. Secondly, I was gay. Thirdly, I was in a very male-dominated environment.
Right.
And I was the first female distribution manager, and I had lots of chaps almost jostling me, going, yeah, go on. Yeah, let's see you ride a fork truck. What they hadn't realised was that I'd been having fork truck training lessons at weekends when no one was looking. Moment when someone would go, come on then, lassie, let's see you move a pallet. So I got in the fork truck and I moved it.
Right in there.
But when you look at those different things, I've had the biggest pleasure all the way through my career. It's always been about trying to get fun and enjoyment. I've had the biggest and the best amount of fun doing Focus 7 in the last 5 years. And just bringing brands alive and getting in meeting rooms with clients and getting them to relax and have a laugh. Yep. And we're teasing out really, really painful emotional problems. We're teasing out real blockers to why the business can't grow. But there's a kind of a lightheartedness in the room, and you just think that's great. People want to work with you then, Stephen. They suddenly think, actually, this might work, and just think that's great. Let's keep going.
I love it. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. And I'm going to do a Lindsay Boyd on us because we've got a bit of girl fan stuff going on there. What do you want to be known for, Vida?
I want to be known for brand-led growth by design, but I also want to be known for helping you find the heartbeat of your business and making it beat faster.
Love it. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I am very, very grateful. Where would you like everyone to connect with you?
They can connect with me everywhere. They can connect with me on my LinkedIn. If you go onto my LinkedIn profile, I've got my mobile phone number in there, my email's in there. They can connect with me on Facebook. I'm in your Facebook group, Steve, so they can connect with me in there. They can connect with me on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm not as good on Instagram, but hopefully you'll be teaching me how to be better on that soon.
More than happy to support. You've been tagged in quite a bit recently. Awesome. Thank you ever so much, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, thanks ever so much. Take care. Have a lovely weekend.
Take care. Bye-bye. My friends, how awesome was that? How much fun was that? There's some key points I want to raise there on that interview is that myself and Vida didn't stop smiling all the way through it. It's very clear that we enjoy each other's company. We love what we do. And how would it be? What if, let's do a Lindsay Boyd. What if you could wake up every day and do something you loved and had a smile on your face and enjoyed the energy around it? That for me would be amazing. Now, I touched on something with regards to insight and being spiritual. And if you're in line with me and my purpose, and communicating the kind of world, you'll get it. I want to share something with you. It's a comment. Now, I've not put the comment up on the screen because I don't want you to read the comment I just want you to take note on the time it was put. So a good friend of mine is watching this video, Dr. Robert Adams. He produced a TED talk last year, and he's given me a great compliment, and I love it, and I'm very, very grateful. But I just want to share something with you, because there's the synchronicities, it's the insights, it's the little things behind things. Now, and I'm going to add some context to this to you, and I think it'll just finish the whole interview off really, really nicely. You know, Guy, I'm a spiritual guy, and I have this spiritual side to me. Dr. Robert Adams shared a comment, and it's a very lovely compliment. But can you can't see the time that you put it, so I'm going to take this off. The time was 0222. Now, if you Google 0222, you'll see that it's an angel number. And me, I am so in tune with angels and interested in angels and that level of content. It's nuts. This is Carl Gray's stuff. So I didn't want to share the comment that he left, but it's a lovely compliment. I wanted to share the time, and I can see the time in the comments. So please have a look in the comments on Facebook. It's 0222. 0 and 222 is an angel number, and that's why I want to share with you. So I'm talking about synchronicities, I'm talking about signs, insights. I'm sharing that with Vida, and then Dr. Robert Adams, who I've worked with in the past, shares a comment at 0222. So my parting gift for you guys is look out for the signs. You know, you might think it's just a coincidence. Coincidence was a word that was made up for muggles.